So I'm using medium worsted yarn and 5.5mm crochet hook. I'm gonna start with a slip knot. And I'm gonna chain 4. I'm gonna make 2 incomplete double crochet joined together in the 4th chain from the hook. Chain 1 and repeat 2 incomplete double crochet joined together. I'm gonna make 1 more. So this 2 incomplete double crochet joined together, chain 1 and repeated, are cluster V-stitch or double V-stitch. So I'm gonna make another cluster V-stitch in the same chain. Okay, chain 2. So here I have 1 chain 1 space and I have 2 chain 1 spaces. And in the chain 1 space I'm gonna make 2 clusters in each. So first cluster, second cluster in the same chain 1 space. The purpose is to have a wide triangle to shape the rectangle later on. So 2. And again in this chain 1 space I'm gonna do the same. One, and 2. And a double crochet in the previous chain 3. So this is how it looks so far. It's not very clear triangle shape, but the more you go with the rows, the more it gets clear and it shapes into a large triangle. Right. So next row I'm gonna chain 2, and in the first chain 1 space of the cluster V-stitch, the same thing, I'm gonna make a double cluster. One, and 2. In the next chain 1 space over here, 1 cluster. In the next chain 1 space, 1 cluster. in the last chain one space 2 clusters. So basically in every row you start with 2 clusters in the first space and you end with 2 clusters in the last space, and the spaces in between are only single clusters. Okay. And do not forget the double crochet in the chain 2 space over here. So I'm gonna continue with few more rows and then I'll come back to show you how to shape the body of the rectangle. So here I have done 5 rows of the cluster V-stitch, and now I'm gonna make the body of the rectangle. So I will keep increasing on one side and I will decrease on one side. So in one side I will make 2 cluster V-stitches in a chain 1 space, and for the decrease I will skip 1 cluster V-stitch at the end and beginning of the next row. So I'm gonna show you how for the next 5 rows as well. So 5 rows of triangle, 5 rows for the body, and 5 rows of the closing of the rectangle. So this is the chain 1 space. I'm gonna make the 2 V-stitch double cluster. Oops. One and 2. Next chain 1 space, cluster V-stitch, 1 cluster V-stitch till the end of the row. And here is the last V-stitch of this row. And I'm gonna skip the last one, which is this one, the chain 1 space, and I'm gonna make a double crochet at the end. And I will do the same beginning of the row. I'm gonna chain 2 and I'm gonna skip this V-stitch. I'm gonna work on the next V-stitch. Oops. Cluster V-stitch. And a cluster V-stitch in every chain 1 space till the end of the round again, where we will do another increase. So 2 cluster V-stitches in the last chain 1 space. So here I have finished 10 rounds like we said, so 5 rounds of the triangle expansion, then 5 rows shaping of the body of the rectangle, and now we're gonna close it back into a triangle to give the final shape of the rectangle. So what we're gonna do now, we're gonna decrease from the beginning of the row and the end of the row till there are no more stitches left. So I'm gonna chain 3. So if you get this shape while working, don't you worry, later on you can either block it or just simply stretch it and it'll take the shape. So again, I'm gonna skip this cluster V stitch and I'm gonna work my first cluster over here. And cluster in every chain one space. So here I'm at the end of the row. So I've got 2 chain one spaces left. I'm gonna work my last cluster V stitch. I'm gonna skip this chain one space and make a double crochet in the chain 3 at the end. Oops. Like so. And starting of the next row, chain 3 and turn. Again, I'm gonna skip now this V stitch or chain one space and I'm gonna work in this space. And I'm gonna repeat for a total of 5 rows from where I started, or until I'm left with 1 cluster V stitch. So here I've got 2 spaces left and this is the row before the last. Chain 3 again, skip the first chain 1 space or cluster and work cluster in the next one. Crochet in the last space. Chain 3 and double crochet in the space only. And this is the corner to corner cluster V stitch rectangle. I hope you liked the tutorial and found it easy to follow. Let me know what you think, and until next time, take care, bye bye.